All right, guys, here we go. 5.2 lecture notes. So I have the notes kind of on one side of my screen. Got a PowerPoint obviously on this screen, so I'm going to be looking back and forth. All right, so here we go. So how do ecosystems respond to change? We're talking about changing conditions, kind of just that naturally occur, both from the natural world as well as human impact. We're talking about both of them in this point. Okay, this is the big gigantic thing called ecological succession. What it is number one, it's the normal, gradual change in species composition. Basically, think of like a forest. The forest used to have this amount of animals. Slowly but surely over time, it's changing species composition or what's in that forest. All right, this can be a natural thing. Okay, species composition of ecosystem or community can change just naturally. Okay, environmental conditions will change. The amount of rain, the amount of, we just went through an ice age, the amount of sunlight, the temperature around there, and so on. Okay, so number two, does species composition change? Absolutely. Why? Environmental conditions are changing, and not only natural, but like humans. Like we chop down a forest to like put a neighborhood there. Obviously, that environmental condition has now changed, so species composition is going to change. All right, example right there. See the clear cutting. That's what I was just talking about. But we also like forest fires. Okay, volcanic eruptions, climate change, earthquakes, rising sea levels, all those different kind of things. All right, primary and secondary succession are examples of nature ecological change. Okay, so number four, what are some examples? By the way, sorry, I skipped that one. Examples: fire, volcanic eruptions, climate change, clear cutting, all those things I was just talking about. All right. So, primary ecological succession. This is basically the gradual succession in lifeless areas. That's your blank for number five, where there's no soil. So, basically, think of like an island pops out of the Pacific Ocean. There is nothing there, and there has never been anything there. That's when primary succession occurs. Never there before, lifeless. There's no soil. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. Just absolute bare rock. That's primary succession. All right. This takes a long time, hundreds to thousands of years. All right. You can see the picture here. Let's kind of look on the left hand side. You can see exposed rocks. Okay. The first thing that arrives are these things called lichens. Okay. As lichens get established, they produce acid from their roots. That acid breaks the soil down into soil, or excuse me, breaks the rocks down into soil. So the lichens got to get there first. Then the mosses are next. Then the small herbs and shrubs. And then the heath mat, basically kind of like bigger bushes. Think of it that way. And then so on, you're kind of building to a forest. So primary succession, again, starting with nothing, starting with bare rock, bare rock, bare rock. All right. On the flip side now, secondary ecological succession occurs when communities or ecosystems have been disturbed. This is number where we at number seven. Disturbed, removed, or destroyed, but still remain or still retain some soil or bottom sediments. All right. So an easy example of this is a forest fire. Okay. The forest fire is going to burn all the trees, but the soil that's there, the soil is going to stay there. So all the like the roots and whatnot, the roots of stuff is still going to be there. Okay. This actually is an important ecosystem service because this allows for new growth to occur. So like basically kind of get to a forest, it kind of becomes stagnant is a weird way to say it. It kind of has like a bad connotation, but it's just going to kind of stay the same. It's going to stay the same, stay the same, and stay the same unless something occurs. So a forest fire wipes it out, so new things can rise up. Okay, that's basically what we're talking about there. It is a good thing. All right, it enriches biodiversity of communities and ecosystems by increasing species diversity, interaction among species, because now there's kind of like just new things there. So different relationships start to form. All right, it doesn't always follow a predictable path. You'd like to think so, but like we learned on that the Isle Royale with the wolves and the moose, we think it's supposed to go this way, but we notice that it's not always the predator prey relationship doesn't always work right hand in hand with each other, like in theory. All right. Oh, secondary session number nine. Where's it? Where's it? Oh, promotes population control. That's number 10. So number nine, succession also enhances where it is. Enhances biodiversity of communities. All right. Number 10, I talk about population control, increases the complexity of food webs, enhances energy flow, increases nutrient cycling. Basically, a whole bunch of kind of like new relationships and new interactions in that forest or in that ecosystem start because of it. All right, here's secondary succession. All right, left hand side. Okay, this is where you start. Okay, everything got burned down, and then the small grasses, or what they call the annual weeds, that starts. Because again, secondary succession, there was something there. The soil's still there. The whole top just gets wiped out. We start over. Okay, so it's not bare rock because you have the soil. You're starting over in the sense of like, okay, so what plants are going to start planting themselves? Primary, there's no soil. It's just straight up bare rock. There has never, ever, ever been anything there before. Secondary, there was life. That's the big difference. All right. Where are we at? Living systems arise out of complex processes. This is number, where are we at? 11. Arise out of complex processes that result in some degree of stability or sustainability. So basically, new relationships was forming that kind of help the system stabilize itself. Okay, it withstands external stress in response to changing environmental conditions. That's 11A. Number 12, two aspects of stability and sustainability. There's a thing called inertia. All right, inertia is the ability for the ecosystem to survive a moderate disturbance. And by moderate disturbance, we're talking a forest fire, but like a small forest fire. Okay, so like you have a forest that's 100,000 acres. A moderate disturbance would be like a forest fire in like 20,000 of those 100,000 acres. So the whole thing didn't get wiped out, but the inertia is basically their ability to survive that thing. Something happened, but all the organisms over there to kind of respond and they can move in once that forest fire is taken care of. All right. On the other side, resilience is the ability of the ecosystem to be restored, is what's going on there. Okay. So we have inertia, we have resilience. All right. Inertia, you can also think of inertia as like the ability for like the organisms in an ecosystem to tolerate change. So like think of like the water temperature of the ocean is rising, but the salmon do okay with it. Like they have a range of tolerance that's going to make it sure that they're okay with it. All right. Go ahead and leave a question. That way we can chat tomorrow if necessary.